What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Ham Radio Crash Course. Welcome to Saturday. I'm so glad you made it out. We're going to be talking about owning a frequency. And of course, we don't mean to take possession of. We mean to run it in an effective way for you to make contacts on the air. We're going to talk about getting over mic fright. And we're going to be covering lots of different topics that would be applicable to technicians, generals, and extra. I have Matt with me, AE4MQ from Ham Radio Adventures. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Enjoy the memes as we kick things off. And how's it going, everybody? I am Josh, KI6NAZ. Thanks so much for coming out to the Ham Radio Crash Course. We like to do these little live streams on Saturdays here. We talk about ham radio, new and interesting things. My goal is to bring you new information about the hobby, new gear, tips and tricks, or just have you look at something you've kind of never experienced before. And today is going to be a fun one because I have somebody who I view as a very strong operator. And so Matt will be with us in a little bit, and he's going to cover all kinds of fun stuff, his methods, if you will, and what he's gone through getting started with ham radio and then becoming a more proficient user, and then obviously getting into portable and doing the good work that he's doing over with the Ham Radio Adventures group. Okay, so really quick, I want to give a big shout out to the ARRL. I got my Bill Leonard Award, and that's it right there. It's a wonderful plaque. It's heavy as all get out. I think it's like solid acrylic. It's really nice, and I really do thank the ARRL for sending that to me, and obviously the board voted, and yeah, super cool. So thanks again to the ARRL. Okay, we got some merch. You know, I've mentioned it every time we do the show. It helps support not just the YouTube channel, but supports the podcast, the Ham Radio Crash Course podcast that I do with my wife. And my wife, Leia, she's the one who does all the great designs there on the hamtactical.com website. So make sure to check that out. Links are in the description for not just hamtactical.com, but our podcast, our Discord, which is where we do the after chat at the end of the live streams. So I hope you do come out for that. We take your questions live. We usually have a lot of super, super smart people in the room. Not just me trying to answer your questions, but it's a community effort. And we really do, I think, help some people out. The Discord's really, really good for people starting out, I think, because, you know, not everybody can be one-on-one, but on our Discord, there's always somebody that will help out. And it's super great. Okay. Big news. I, among many other YouTubers, by the way, I'm going to Huntsville this year. So I will be at the Huntsville Hamfest. So if there's anybody that was thinking about going and they were on the fence, they weren't sure if they're going to make it, I'll be there. And I did get my second COVID shot. And that's why I'm feeling a little under the weather today. But yeah, I will be there, ready to go. So hopefully y'all come over and say hi if you see me. All right. I have a video coming up next week with DX Commander, Callum, great guy. So we'll be talking more about that when he comes out. Probably next week it'll pop. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure you go sub to him as well. I'm on TikTok, as they call it, Ham Talk. So I'm out on Ham Talk now. If you want to go check that out, the link is in the description as well. Okay, enough of all that. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about how to use frequencies effectively, efficiently, so that you can make contacts. You know, it's always fun to get on the radio, no matter how you're doing radio. But you definitely want to use your time effectively, efficiently, and particularly when you're starting out, there's some couple tips and tricks that you can pick up along the way. And we're thankful enough that we have somebody. Matt, AE4MQ, is one of the founders of the Ham Radio Adventures Club. If you remembered last week or the week before, I'll have him clarify that for us. They did the Outer Banks activation for Ham Radio Adventures. It was a big POTA event that they put on. There's a couple of videos on the topic out there already, so if you're interested in it, make sure you go check that out as well. Okay, with that said, oh wait, I do have one more thing. This is Matt, by the way. I've got a video of him that somebody sent me. So let's just show Matt operating out portable, and we'll take his thoughts after the video.
Kilo Bravo station, please. Kilo Bravo 1, Echo Alpha Alpha, 59 and a park 6308. Roger, Roger, 55 into MA. Thank you very much for the contact. This is Whiskey Echo 4, Delta X-Ray, QRZ. Victor Echo 3, Yankee Tango November, QSL. Alrighty, you're 5'9" plus about 5 into park 6308. Roger, Roger. Thank you for Oscar November. 73. Thanks for hunting me. This is Whiskey Echo 4, Delta X-Ray, QRZ. Was that Kilo 7 Sierra Echo November? Hey, thanks for Arizona. Thanks for hunting me. You almost work me every time I do a POTA, so thank you. This is Whiskey Echo 4, Delta X-Ray, QRZ. So we're not going south, we're pushing north.
Which is fine, because we're about as far south as you can go, so this actually might be a really good pattern for us. Because you got Massachusetts too, you've got both coasts. And Ontario, so you hit both coasts in a few minutes.
And that's Evan from Ham Radio Crash Course as well.
Insane. We're not going to have any problems activating this one, though.
Yeah, we're off to a good start.
Yeah, we were having a good time.
Oscar Hotel 1?
Where's the fun part? Is it coming up? Do you remember, Matt?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where Evan put it.
We're waiting for the fun. Yeah, we're waiting for the sweet spot.
Roger,
We're at Yellow.
Roger.
Yeah.
55 into Southwest Florida today.
So this was a park activation that Evan and I did.
Yep.
73, thanks for working me from Finland. This is Whiskey Echo 4, Delta X-Ray, QRZ. November 5, Lima Zulu Tango, QSL.
I don't know how long it is.
It's just a couple of minutes. A couple more minutes.
This is Whiskey Echo 4, Delta X-Ray, QRZ. Whiskey 0, Sierra Alpha Bravo, QSL.
Normally when I run alone, I wear earbuds. So
Oh, sure. Yeah, we'll talk about that too.
You're 5'5" in a Park Kilo 6308, QSL. Kilo Papa 4, Yankee Bravo. Roger, Roger. Kilo Papa 4, Yankee Bravo. Kilo Papa 4, Yankee Bravo. 2222 in a Park 6308, QSL. Yes, the frequency's in use. I'm doing a POTA here. Where's my amp when I need it?
Right.
And that's what we wanted to catch, that ending there. So Matt, you're unchallenged, or you are challenged on the frequencies, but you always have a good response, and you do it. I think you do it in a respectful way. You don't push it too hard. But yeah, thanks for coming out on the show. I'm glad you could take the time. I know you're a busy dude, and you obviously have a schedule that's differently, a different schedule than most individuals. How you doing today?
Doing good. Just waking up.
Getting
ready to start my day. So, coffee. It's coffee and energy drinks for me today instead of a beer. But
sure. Are you actually going to go to work after this?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'll be when we're on the Discord later tonight. I'll be at work.
Okay, but yeah, so that's one of the fun things that Matt can do is he can work sometimes while talking to us on Discord. So he'll answer questions hopefully when we wrap up the show. So Matt, there's a lot of new people coming to ham radio, not just HF, but just across the board. And you've got a certain approach for how whatever it is you're really doing, getting out there, making contacts. What do you, in a nutshell, and we'll break this down because you've got some slides for us and some talking points, but what do you do in a nutshell to kind of get out there and efficiently use the radio?
So the first thing that I do is I run, whether I'm running from home or I'm running away, I kind of switched my mindset from talking
Mm-hmm.
to people to, okay, I want to make contacts, and this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I set up a goal, and whether I'm running a net, DXing, POTA, SOTA, all of that. And you just got to kind of get out and run the radio and run the frequencies the way you want to run them.
What does that mean for you? Run them the way you want to run them.
Well, when you're running a park and you're running a pile up in a park, you are the one that controls the etiquette of everybody that's in your pile.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're talking to people, if you have somebody that calls in the middle of your QSO and you take them that next,
Mm-hmm.
so somebody else is going to do that the next time over.
Sure.
Because it worked for somebody else, so they're going to, and that's how you end up with an unruly pile up where you have people that are, you might not even be able to complete a QSO because you have people calling over top of the guy that's talking.
Right. So you're kind of maintaining the decorum, if you will, right? Of how.
Yeah, you're owning the frequency.
Right. And clarify that.
It's yours to run when you're there.
Well, yeah.
Nobody owns a frequency.
Right.
But if I'm talking on a frequency, that's my space.
Mm-hmm.
And if I've taken my tent stakes and staked out that 1.5 kilohertz and I'm going for it, I'm not going to give it up unless I have completed my goal.
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody that's much louder than me that can't hear me comes in and blows me out of the water, which does happen.
Sure.
Occasionally you get people. I'll get down here. I get people from the European Union that just they can't hear me running 10 watts, out in a park.
Right. And you
at the end of that clip, you hear me say, "Where's my amp?"
Right.
Because
that was what I was going to mention in that video. Which radio were you using? Because I think you were QRP, right?
Oh yeah, I was running 10 watts with my KX3.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a 20 meters soda beam band hopper on a 20, set up in a kind of wanky way out in the woods where it was like I had the pole leaning one way so it would not enough space to set it up basically.
Sure, that happens with that band hopper.
I got Finland on 10 watts.
Right. It's a good antenna. I love that thing. There was a comment that your audio's a bit low. Can you bump that up a bit, or I can probably drop mine down if I'm a little high.
You're gonna have to bump it. I'm on the headset that I'm on.
Oh, okay.
It is what it is.
Okay. I may have to just drop me down because I can't bump you right now. This is a Skype, or no, we're using Zoom, so that's possibly what that is.
So it might be the interface, but the I can try to talk up a little though.
Yeah, that's fine.
So when you go into any activation, whether that be contesting, DXing, rag chewing, or whatever, you want to make sure that that you're getting towards the goal. When I started out on HF, I talked way too fast. And people would have to ask me my call sign over and over again because of the speed that it's your call sign, it.
Right.
So you speed through it, and the guy in Italy doesn't know your call sign.
Right. Well, let's pull up your slides, and we'll hit your slides, and then I've got some questions too. I'd like to hear your thoughts on them. So again, Matt Quince is with us. I'm saying that right. It's Quince, right?
Yeah, you're saying it right.
Okay. And president, I said one of the founders, but president of Ham Radio Adventures. Sorry about not giving you the right title there.
Well, you weren't wrong, though. I am one of the founders, too.
Yeah.
I'm the one that likes to talk, so they're like, hey, you get to be president.
Oh.
So
sometimes that's how it works, I think. So a couple of these points you already hit, but yeah, go for it. Let's walk through these, and let's take some time with it, and we'll take questions from the chat too.
So I've worked with a lot of newer hams, doing POTUS all over the country, and I've run with a lot of people that are not hams and gotten them on the air, let them use my call sign. And the first thing is learn your call sign and phonetics inside and out. you with HF, you have to know the call sign and phonetics. Obviously, I know my call sign. But I've been a ham for 3 years now. It's just learn that call sign,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to get you the best thing, because you don't want to be in the middle of saying your call sign, trying to break a pile up to talk to somebody, get your first QSO, and stutter or mispronounce a letter or use something that's non-standard, especially if you're doing DX. Sometimes
Yes.
you'll throw in. Sometimes I'll throw in Mary Queen,
Yeah.
the old school thing, as the MQ rather than Mike Quebec,
Right.
because they people just don't get it. But I always use the standard NATO phonetics out of the box first out.
I would also add to that, like, obviously learn your call sign and phonetics first, but you should really understand the alphabet very well in phonetics, right? Wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That your call sign's your most important thing. But if you're talking to Mexico, you're going to need to know that X is X-ray.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking to I'm trying to think of a couple of the weirder call signs out there, but we utilize all of the letters of the alphabet and all the different call signs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you definitely want to know the phonetic alphabet. I knew it before I was a ham, so for me it was never a problem. But
Yeah, and you have to know that
spent
P is
some time.
pneumonia. That's a standard P. P is for pneumonia.
Only on 160.
Only on 160. Absolutely. So yeah, you mentioned goals, right? So you've obviously got a couple of the goals listed. You're I think by and large you do a lot of POTAs, and you've obviously been out with me doing sodas before, and
So I've
obviously
done
you do
one soda.
DX. You do DX because you happen to be in Florida, which seems to be a DX magnet.
Yeah. So my very first contact on my 7300, I turned it on, and I hit Italy.
Yeah, sure, as one does.
I talked to Laro over in Italy, and I'm sure anybody on the West Coast that has an HF radio knows who Laro is,
Mm-hmm.
because he's always on the radio. He has this gigantic beam on his roof. When you look at it on there on the satellite view, you see this gigantic, like 4-element beam he has, and it probably glows with that 800 watts that he says he runs.
Right. For sure. We do have a couple of questions coming in, and we'll get to them in the chat. So I appreciate that. Just hang tight, guys, and we'll get to it. Let's hit your next slide. What we got here? All right.
Okay.
You can see the slides, right? We're on slide 2.
Yeah, I can. So the first thing is if you have a lot of mic fright and you're having a hard time overcoming it,
Mm-hmm.
Search out your local club, talk to us in Discord, talk to, there's Ham Radio Adventures. We are an online club, and we have international members, but we're predominantly an American club, and we're gaining membership all over the country. So as we grow, people are going to be in your area.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to allow people to play radio together. And there's like nothing better than putting somebody on the air for the first time and helping them through it. LZ, he's one of our mods.
Yes.
LZ is a technician, and we've been giving him a hard time for probably a year and a half because he's like not wanted to upgrade. You know how hams are. Oh, come on, you got to upgrade.
And poking him with a stick.
So LZ decided to come to OBX. And he had never made an HF contact before, never made an SSB contact, never any of that. He'd gone to field day, but the band conditions were really bad that thing, and he didn't stay long enough to, wait for the band to open up. And what we did is I called CQ at a park, got a nice pile up going. And then after I made about 12 contacts, they kicked me off the radio. And I will use that word. They kicked me off the radio because I won't give the mic up. You have to tell me to leave. The happiest place I am is in the middle of a pile up and just listening and moving through them. But the my friend Mike went and got Elsie and was like, we put him on the air, and he got 25 contacts at that park, and then I think he got 15 at the next.
Oh, good.
So
That's fantastic.
He went from never having made a contact on HF to running and managing a pilot. Now, if you're doing it for the first time with someone else, the advantages are they will be there to help you. So I don't know if anybody has seen Jason's video from yesterday, but I was working with a woman named Ashley, and we were helping her, telling her, what to say, how to say it. And that having somebody to help you after you find your groove, because everybody's going to have their own groove.
Right.
It's just so much easier to move forward in that. And I get it. People get mic fright. You and I were talking earlier. I'm scared to death to transmit CW because I can't copy well enough.
Yeah.
I can't copy, and I'm afraid I'm going to get out there and people are going to be bombarding me with CW. And it's going to be like, well, I can't understand you. I'm sorry. And it's not like I grab the mic and go slow down. I guess I could say, ask him to slow down, send the Q code. But
the funniest thing about CW is, when you're on single sideband and you're out there calling CQ, you want someone to come back. When you're a newbie at CW, the last thing you want is somebody to come back to your CQ call in Morse code, because you're never ready. That's one reason why I like the Long Island CW Club. They do a fantastic job. So they really do help, like, throwing you in the deep end is the wrong term. They're just very good at making you comfortable at running a QSO. But yeah, keep going, Matt. Sorry, just wanted to get that plug in there.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But I get the mic fright thing. I was never really afraid because I was like, okay, I'm just gonna throw my call sign out. I started working all these great DX stations. It was like it was just such a high to be able to be like, okay, I just started and I've already have like 20 confirmed countries on phone.
Yeah.
Like 3 weeks in.
Really quick, the carries, thank you so much for the super chat. If my audio is good now, hopefully I'm balanced to you. I thought I did that beforehand, but I think we might have had a blip. I moved the mic. And then Evan, thank you for the super chat. And Chris, this is the longest I've heard Matt not talk about his amp, he said in super chat. So this is, I guess it's a first for a number of reasons. So thank you all for the super chats. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
I was gonna wear my QRP shirt that I have.
Right.
You down with QRP?
Yeah.
Because everybody that knows me, it's a joke. Because I'm the guy that found people that had amplifiers to bring on a POTA and brought generators to run.
Right.
We're down on the beach running 500 watts.
Right.
My biggest tip for anybody that's starting out is, and I touched on it earlier, but be slow and intentional with your call and your RST reports.
Those are the things that matter. I mean, those are the things that matter. So you gotta get those in the book, right? And then you can whatever you want to do with the rest of the QSO.
Well, usually, the way I try to run, unless it's a really slow day at the park, I will talk to people. And one of the biggest reasons that I say, slow down, make your CQ call 20 to 30 seconds long. And this is more for POTA, but this works if you're running at home. So everybody that I know loves their waterfall on their radio. The waterfall, everybody loves a waterfall. And why do people like a waterfall? Well, it's because you can see the sideband transmissions on it, and you can go, hey, there's somebody over there. So you want your CQ to be long enough that when somebody looks at their waterfall, they can turn the VFO center on it and catch your call sign. And that's why, very slow, very metered. It might sound, you might want to go faster, but if you slow it down, I have found I get a lot less people asking me what my call sign are when they come back to me. And I get massive pileups because you have all these people that are, going, hey, there's somebody over there. They're nice and strong. Now, if you're running 1200 watts, you're going to be bright red on a waterfall, and you could go a little faster.
Sure. Yeah. That's a good point. And that last part there, you're saying Get into the park. Get to a park.
Yeah, get to a park, get to a place where the noise floor is low. I'm all about doing POTA. Actually, the funny thing is that Evan, who was sitting with his back to that video in the intro, I did my first POTA with Evan last year at Lover's Key. I had never done a POTA before, and that your first pileup can be an intimidating thing, and it definitely is a lot of fun. But it's nice to have a buddy there to help you out and work it with you. And as I said, the club is just an extension of me hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
Now I have friends all over the country, and I fly out to Washington for a weekend, and we'll go, to some random park and activate with my buddies, and then I fly take a red eye home.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's true. Yeah.
Why not?
Or you drive, right? You like
or
to
I
drive.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I the West Coast is a little far to drive to, and like I flew out to Pacifica.
Right.
Ham Radio Adventures really came from Pacifica.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's really where the idea came from. Is I went on that, and I started talking to people in the Discord, and we said we want to do more of that. So we started a club to do more of that.
Yeah.
More outdoors, more hanging out. It's just friends playing radio and learning and advancing people and advancing the hobby really through hams getting together and playing. Obviously, COVID.
I know that was and right when you guys got everything organized too, that's when it kind of all hit. I feel like for many reasons, the best way to get good at HF or whatever it is you're doing is to do it with other people that are familiar. I feel like that makes the whole learning process much faster. I found that to be true, and I know that it seems like people can come up to speed quicker if they do have somebody that's in person with them a lot of times. So I don't know how you feel about that.
Elmerine's a thing. I 100% agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I was operator when I finally got everything set up. I reached out to my local club and asked them if they had anybody that was available to help me. And by the time they called me back, like 3 weeks later, I had already gotten everything set up. It was already off on the races. So it definitely helps, like pile-up management, and frequency frequency space management, and all of that.
So what do you do? What is
everything encompasses that? I just do.
I'm off-roading a bit off of your slides here, but what does pile-up management do for you? Or how do you do that, I guess is more the question.
So when I'm doing a POTA, and I have a POTA, or I can do it running at home because I'm running power from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I literally call CQ from my house and get a pile-up like I'm operating in a park.
Right.
And a lot of that has to do with the enthusiasm and how I run my radio, my mental mindset while I'm running. And what happens is I don't like to talk to people. I'm not a rag chewer.
Mm-hmm.
Which anybody that knows me from Discord is going to be like, what do you mean you don't like to talk to people?
On the radio.
On the radio, I don't like to talk to people. I'm like one of those Europeans that everybody hears, that it's like, I'll give you a real signal report. Okay, you're a 5-3.
Mm-hmm.
But what I expect from people when I'm operating is I'm going to call their call sign out. So Josh, if it's you, I'd say, Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu, QSL.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, what I'm doing is I'm throwing the call sign out there. Do I have your call sign correct? When you come back to me, optimally, I would want an RST report from you.
Right.
Because if you give me an RST report, what you're going to get is an RST report of 73. I'll pause for about 2 seconds, then I say QRZ.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole QSO. But I'm striving for, I when I'm doing a POTA, I want to be making 4 contacts a minute. That's what I'm trying to break.
Oh wow, that would work.
So I'm at 3 right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's about, if there's a good pile up, I'm running 3 contacts a minute. And I want to try to get to that 4. I mean, I want to push myself. I want to get a little faster
Mm-hmm.
and move forward with my speed. And it's because it's a challenge to see how many people you can work in one pile up. The last time I did a park by myself, I did a park like 10 miles north of my house, and I got 98 contacts in like an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 15 minutes.
That's great. Hey, Ham Radio
So-
for non-techies, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. It says, great show tonight. This is great for intro or info for hams looking to get into POTA and more. Thanks for the info and tips. So yeah, thanks Matt again for being on.
Yeah.
All right.
So
you want me to?
I'm drinking my coffee.
No, absolutely. You're starting your day.
Yeah. So that's I'm done. We're done. You can go to the next slide.
Okay.
Because that's it. These are really normal tips, tricks, but obviously, in the beginning, the owning the frequency is a bit of a joke.
Right.
Nobody owns a frequency.
Sure.
You got to get a lot of these guys that are net control operators, and they've been running on that frequency forever. Well, I don't know that there's a net there.
Why would we? Why would we know?
Exactly. It was a clear space, and a lot of times I'll yield to a net, but most of the time I'm trying to activate a park, or I'm in the middle of a pileup, and a guy comes on and starts saying that we'll start talking over top of the person I'm trying to talk to. And a lot of times I'll just narrow my bandpass filters down a little to try to get who I want to talk to. And I'll just keep going until my pileup's gone, and then I'll go QRT. Obviously I don't want to interfere with a net. If they're running, so I want to find a nice clean area where there's nobody. As the solar cycle gets better, this is going to be a lot harder for us to do.
Sure, and you got to watch out for a net. She's got sharp elbows. She'll give you
a
net. A net.
So and I run the HRCC net.
Yes.
HF net when I can. I'm one of the only people that run it, because we have you pretty much everybody can hear me for some reason. I don't know why they say it's Florida.
Florida saltwater. It's that Florida saltwater.
Yeah. So and actually what somebody told me was they were looking at the conductivity of the ground.
Sure.
And apparently the rest of the country is like a 2 and Florida's like an 8.
Yeah, I believe it.
So it's the ground conductivity that we have. We just probably get much nicer radiation patterns. But I'm very loud when I run a net when I run the net from down in Florida. And it starts with, so like when I come in to run the HRCC net, we have friends that are Europeans. And Europeans can't run above 14.2. I mean 7.2. Sorry, 7.2. So 7200 is as high as they can go. So we have to keep it down. We really only have about 15 kilohertz that we can operate in, where we can operate the HRCC net.
Sure.
Because I can't go into I can go into the extra space, but I don't want to exclude any of our American friends. And that gives us a limited amount of space. You got to kind of eke out spin your VFO, see if you can find something. And you ask if the frequency's in use several times. You listen, ask again, listen. And if nobody comes back, at that point, that's when I rag you. About 10 minutes before the net starts, I just start talking normally to Don and 5SKT.
Yeah.
Because Don can usually hear me. He's like a skip away, and I can usually hear him. Or sometimes you pipe in if you're not busy.
If I can, for sure.
Evan and I usually have a really good path. So Evan and I tend to talk, and I try to hold that frequency space.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to hold that space because as long as I'm talking there, it's mine. I own it. And if I'm at home, it's my space, and I'm not going to give it up until we're done with the net.
Right.
So it's ours. This is the other. So I'm looking at the slides.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and really quick while you're got to pause there. Racer X07 says Whiskey Zulu 8 Lima Hotel Romeo. Josh, is there a Rhoda Club, Rivers on the Air? I live on the Ohio River, still waiting on radio equipment. You are the future of ham radio. Keep it up. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I don't think I've seen a Rivers on the Air. They should maybe do that.
Some of the rivers are like POTAs though.
Sure.
So you'll find if you look on the POTA map, sometimes there'll be like a historical trail or something, and it'll be in multiple states, and that one POTA covers that entire chunk.
Right.
There's a river up by Steve Kilo Mike 9 Golf.
Mm-hmm.
The river by his house is 100 miles of it. You can stop anywhere on the river as long as you're on that little sliver. It's a POTA.
Oh wow!
Do it anywhere. Yeah,
that's cool.
So I don't know about the Ohio River, but check for, I think they're called National Scenic Rivers or something like that. Those are usually POTAs.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, if you're running a park, it is okay to, if somebody starts QRMing you really bad, it's okay to go up and say, hey guys, I was operating, a kilohertz and a half below you. Could you slide up a kilohertz and I'll slide down a half a kilohertz?
Right, split the difference.
Split the difference just to see, hey, let's work together.
Mm-hmm.
They might not hear you. That's always possible.
Yes.
QRP is a challenge. And I spend a lot of time saying to people, buy yourself a 100-watt radio to start with. But if you're operating portable, it's running lower power is definitely more of a challenge because people can't hear you.
Yeah.
And if they can't hear you, they don't know they're interfering with you. They don't know that you're there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not anybody's fault. It's just how the ionosphere works. So I already went over pilot management, so we don't need to talk about pilot management.
Sure. Okay.
Well,
I think you got most of those right.
Yeah, the don't take operators that are rude.
Yeah, hit that one. I like that. So what do? You just ignore the call until they go away? What do you do?
Yeah. I'll ignore them. Sometimes I'll call them out. So I'll say the last three of their call sign, and I'd be like, "Look, you're being rude. Please don't talk over my QSO."
Right.
You're not. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to talk over the guy whose call sign I set.
Ideally, yeah, that's respectful.
Ideally,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, I'll ignore them. The only time that sometimes that doesn't work is with the Italians. And I'm not picking on Italians by any means, but they do kind of get a bad rap. But I swear, when they think that you can't hear them, I think they start turning their power up. Because they literally, they'll be coming in like 5 over.
Right.
And I'll ignore them for 2 or 3 calls because they're calling it out of cycle and over top people. And then next thing you know, they're like 60 over, and it's like, dude, knock it off.
You're literally nulling my front end. You're desensing my radio. Yeah. Hey, Christiana, thank you for the super chat. She says, she's saying to Leia too, purrs from the ham radio Kitty Clouder here in Oregon. Oh, hi to you too, Josh. We are going to do a POTA in Crater Lake SP here in so Crater Lake is cool. Have you ever been to Crater Lake? You've been all over the place, Matt. Have you been?
I haven't been to Crater Lake yet. That is on the list of places that I want to play radio from.
That
We
might
are going.
be both an island on the air and a parks on the air, because the
Summit?
island's called like Wizard Island. There's an island in Crater Lake, and I think it's called Wizard's Island or something like that. I went up and we went up to Seattle, and I would fly up to like Alaska occasionally, and I always love passing over Crater Lake. It's very cool seeing it from an airplane. Anyway, sorry.
I had, well, that's fine. No, I haven't been to Crater Lake yet. We as in Ham Radio Adventures are going to, I think, Rhodes End, Oregon. In 5 weeks. It's like the 4th of June. We're going to be up there. Rhodes End is about an hour and a half from Portland, I think.
Okay.
And what it is it's the grid square there is CN75, and CN75 only touches, I think it's like 6 square miles of land. Total.
Interesting.
So we found a park. We actually had a POTA add a park because there was a state recreation area there that did not have a park number. So we're like, hey, can you add this recreation area and they did. So we have a park that's in the grid square, and I should be picking up a new antenna for that. And I'm flying in from Fort Myers into SeaTac and one of the club members is going to pick me up. I don't know who yet, but all 3 of them said they would.
Very cool.
So the people that live in the Pacific Northwest, we have a pretty healthy group of guys that like to play radio in the Pacific Northwest.
Right.
We have a group down here in Florida. Actually, there are a bunch of you all down in California. You guys just got to get together. You guys got to get together. But there are a bunch of you guys in the California area that all can do it.
We have decent POTAs down in Southern California, but they're all mainly beaches, which there's nothing wrong with that. What we do have a lot of is sodas. We have a lot of sodas down here, which is nice. So. I put a slide together. I read your slide and I was like, oh, it's interesting. I've got some thoughts of my own that I built a little bit upon, and then I'll have you add your thoughts too. AZ Blade says, thanks Josh for the great content. Just passed my tech license a few days ago. Just bought my first radio, a FT70D today from HRO, and can't wait to get on the air. Thanks again from KJ7YDP. Well, thank you very much, AZ Blade. I appreciate that.
That's
all right.
Awesome.
So here's just my tips, and I'm just adding to that a bit. I think you covered a ton of really good stuff. Appreciate you're going to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. You're going to make them. You will make them again. In the future, you will make mistakes, particularly if you find ham radio interesting and you get into adjacent parts of it. You're going to be learning again all over, and you're going to make mistakes. So anyone who doesn't appreciate that you're going to make mistakes, they're going to make mistakes, and they're going to act like they never will make mistakes, don't deal with them. Don't be on their repeater. Don't make contacts with them. Don't talk to them on the internet. It's fine. You don't need to be friends with every ham radio operator. To conquer mic fright, here's my big tip for conquering mic fright. Talk about concrete things. Talk about things that you wake up in the morning, and if someone just blindsided you, hey, what's your favorite antenna? Boom, you just fire it off, because it's very specific. You know the answer to it. So if you're on a repeater or you're on HF, you're doing a rag chew, talk about things you know. I am talking to you on an ICOM 7300. I have an inverted V in my backyard. I am running 100 watts, right? These are all finite, concrete things. And the more you do that, the more you're going to get comfortable having these off-the-cuff, free-form discussions. So that's what I always tell people for mic fright. Did you ever have mic fright, Matt?
Probably not.
I'm the same as you. I never had mic fright, but I'm kind of you and I are both very outgoing. CW though, I have key fright.
Yeah, I have bad key fright.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
yeah.
Well, and then I'm gonna give a shout out to N8YO. You know,
Oh,
I just
yes.
stand in awe and watch him, you know, as he just sits and hammers
He's very good.
his code out. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, well, the amazing thing is that when we're doing POTUS, if there are people around us, he slows down.
Mm-hmm.
So he's only running like 20 words a minute. If you're quiet, you just let him go. He turns the keyer up to like 30 or 35,
I'm
and he
gonna
just flies.
I'm gonna be in contact with Mike. He's in the chat saying anyone with key fright, he'll help him out. I'll be in contact. I'm chatting that out right now.
Well, so the funny story about Mike is that I met Mike through Discord,
Mm-hmm.
and my Elmer sold four amplifiers last year, and he jokingly said,
Well, you're
"Hey,
the
if your Elmer
delivery
has another
service, right?
Yeah.
You're
So he
Kiki's
jokingly
delivery
said,
service of amps.
when he was joking and said, "Well, if your Elmer has another amp," well, I came back to him with a deal he couldn't say no to. So
Right.
now Mike is running 811B, and he gets to have all sorts of fun in that.
Yeah, you know, I'm looking at the chat too. Forget your life. Actually, that's a really good comment. He's like, it's really easy to conquer mic fright with CB or FRS because you don't have to tell anybody who you are. You just talk. That's true. It's all kind of pseudo anonymous. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I kind of like
well, I know. Yeah. That if you that's very true. FRS and I had a CB once upon a time. I never used it though, not as much as I use my my HF radio. I would like to say I use it daily, but I don't. But I use it enough to do that. I've actually been neglecting the 7300 because it's just too much fun to go down to a park with the KX3.
Oh, it's an amazing radio. That the receiver on that radio is absolutely fantastic. In fact, don't spoil that because we're going to talk about that in a little bit. We are, oddly enough, these always go fast. We only have 4 slides, and we've just been talking what feels like for like 10 minutes, and we've got like 15 minutes left. Jeez, it always happens so fast. I know, it's crazy. My other tip is make your life easy when you're doing anything ham radio related. Pick a logger you like, right? Know how to use it. Have a mic you like. Know how to use it. Or like Matt's wearing a headset right now. Many people that do portable activations, particularly summits on the air, when you get that wind whipping over the top of the mountain and it's just, you can barely hear the speaker, you need earbuds. The quality of hearing will make everything easier, and if you got a mic connected to it, very, very nice. Headphones, make something very, very good, particularly when you're portable. Spend quality time. Yeah, go for it.
I use headphones in the shack too.
I do too.
In my house, I use headphones.
I'll listen to the speaker most often if I'm rag chewing, but if I'm definitely trying to make a contact, I'll put the cans on. And that's just a much better way because you're going to pull out more nuances. You're going to pull out those lower stations much easier if you're using headphones. So keep that in mind. Spend quality time with your gear. Don't wait until you get to the field and have multiple things that you're going to have to conquer if it's your first, couple of times out. If you use it at home, that's why I always recommend putting up an antenna or have a portable antenna that you can leave up for like a weekend or something like that. Have it set up at home, play radio from home, make some contacts at home, get comfortable with, as I call it, the battery of arms for your equipment. That way, when you get out to the field, there's one less random thing that you have to account for. Those are my big tips that I would say talking about that. What do you think?
I agree with all the tips. One of the things I'm going to say for us 7300 owners, which I know there are a lot of guys that own 7300s, get into a QSO with a friend, and what you want to do is start playing with the bandpass filters, moving them around, seeing how it changes, how stuff sounds. You can filter out quite a bit of noise between the 3 different types of bandpass filters and then shifting them slightly off. So, separate, like going one way with one knob, the other with the other. And you can take care of some noise that way to get pull some of those weaker signals out of it. But talking to a friend or having a round robin with 3 or 4 friends and playing with the filters on your radio is going to help you understand how the radio works and what you need to do to work those weak stations. Because Josh, I know you like running searching for D-expeditions. I
love D-expeditions. Yeah, that's.
it.
I wish
And
I could do
I've
more of it.
worked- Yeah. So I want to do the other side. I want to go sit on a beach. And
You
run.
want to be the DX? Yeah, of course. Everybody
Yeah,
wants to be the
of course.
DX. Yeah.
Well, I just want to sit. I just want to sit, and drink a beverage of choice on a beach and play radio.
Oh, well,
I
I do say California makes that. Well, you've got Florida though. You can go sit at a beach, can't you?
Well, yeah, but it's if I go to sit on the beach here, I'm just Alpha Echo 4 Mike Quebec.
Sure.
I don't get to, if I get to go to Fiji,
Oh,
callsign down
sure,
there.
yeah. I figure that's kind of my window into a DX type of situation is I can talk Leia into going to a vacation in some scenic, beach. The trick is how do I hide all the radio gear that I'll be bringing? That's the trick. Because once I figure that out, then we're good.
So okay, learn to golf. And then just make it look like you're bringing a golf bag.
Oh yeah, honey. And it's like the man with the golden gun, but instead it's the poles are all they're all tapped and dyed, so they just screw together. It's like, what is this? It's just my vertical antenna, baby.
Well, we actually Mike actually put the crank IR
right
in that's how he flew out to
with
ODX
it. Very smart, very smart.
So it fit perfectly in an old golf, hard-sided golf container with coax and other stuff. So yeah, I know Buddy Pole, their stuff will fit in the downhill, the twin downhill ski tubes.
Oh wow,
hard ones that like you see. So you can fit that inside there, so you can fly with it, and then grab your KX2 and a battery, and just tell her you're going golfing for the day.
Sorry,
I'm gonna go play 2 rounds. See ya.
Well, I don't think she'd be happy about that either, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
sorry, honey, I'm gonna be gone 8 hours to go golf.
Yeah, well, obviously I'm joking, but that's the thing for me is that I just want to go places. I want to go places preferably with friends, and play radio from exotic places. So, and the first place I'm probably going to go is I'm going to go with Jason to Costa Rica.
Oh, that's right. Jason is talking about doing that. That should be a lot of fun. It sounds like it's a relatively economical trip too, which is nice.
Yeah, and for me, I can just drive to Miami and pick a flight up.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you can take you can rent a boat, right, and just drive down there. I'm kidding. I got a.
That just sounds like it might take a while.
I know. I'm just kidding. I got a couple of questions for you that I'm curious myself. So you get a pile up, right? You got a pile up brewing. People have a certain way they take contacts from the pile up. Are you you try to take the first call sign you hear or part of a call sign you hear, or do you default to like the last call sign you hear? Or is there something special you do, or does it matter?
All over.
Okay.
I'm all over the place. So I generally listen to the whole pile up, and what I'm listening for is I'm listening for DX. If any of our international friends are watching, if you throw out a Mike 0 or anything like that, any of the an F4, a Delta Lima comes back. If I hear a call that doesn't sound like any of the other ones,
right,
you're getting it. And then if I don't hear that, I'm listening in there trying to pick out a number and a couple letters, or the letter and a number and a letter, and I'll just throw that out, and I'll try to work it out through the noise.
Like it.
I will tell you who I won't take.
Oh.
I won't take people that send don't say their full call sign.
Oh, that just give you the suffix or whatever, and then.
Yep.
Yeah,
no,
I agree.
You're not going to do that. Sometimes there'll be one guy that's just so much louder than everybody else. Yeah, you're getting it. And occasionally I'll pull one off the bag. I'm probably really infuriating to work because you can never figure out, okay, where's this guy pulling from? Because
Yeah.
I'm pulling from all over.
That's
But
good, though. I think
it's
that's
it's
good.
it's who I work. No, I don't. You definitely, when you're running, when you're DXing, you definitely, it's something that I'm always listening for. Okay, where's he pulling this call from?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the last guy in? Sometime, and you move to being right on top, to moving back and forth, moving around the pile up, trying to get that guy to hear you.
Yeah.
What's always embarrassing for me is I have a couple friends that I work down in the islands, and occasionally I'll forget to flip the amp from standby to on.
Yeah.
And
Who
my
hasn't done
amp,
that?
well, but my amp's QSK, so
Mm.
my amp doesn't make any noise when
Right.
I hit it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no clicking or anything like
No
that.
relay.
It's silent.
Yeah.
So I'll be sitting there, I'll have the cans on. I'm like, why is he not hearing me? And then I'll look over and I'll push the button on the amp. And my favorite is my friend Ira in Anguilla. And he says he can, when I key up and I inhale, if I key up as I'm inhaling to say my call, he can hear me inhale.
He knows you by your breathing. Oh, that's a little weird.
Well, I apparently from here to there is like perfect. So what happens is I full quiet the whole pile up.
Oh, funny.
I basically desense his receiver. I'm the only person that he can hear.
Yeah.
So, but when I'm running and he's not doing like 6 meter, Ira does a lot of radio. I think there are only 2 or 3 hams on that island. Mm-hmm. So he has a lot of fun. And when he's on like 20 or 17 or 40, I'll work him. But yeah. He's on 80 a lot. So, but I'm really close to the Caribbean, so I'm really lucky that I can work all those guys. I can work them barefoot if I want.
Nice.
But
let me ask you this. Moving down my list here, is there gear you can't live without when you go portable if you're doing parks on the air or something like that? Oh, by the way, when you're taking those pile-ups, I'm always listening for park to park and summit to summit as well. I'm sure you are too.
Yes.
Just FYI, yeah.
Yes.
But anyway,
park to park's important.
Oh, yeah.
Gear I can't live without. Really, probably my band hopper. I wouldn't want to do a Parks on the Air activation without the band hopper. It's a resonant antenna.
Yeah.
It's great antenna. I can set it up in about 6 minutes.
Oh, wow. That's pretty fast. That's pretty good. Yeah.
So, well, I've done it a lot. I've done it a lot.
And that antenna will take 100 watts, which is nice. That's nice thing about it. It doesn't look like it can, but it definitely can.
Oh, it can take 100 watts, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
So the band hopper is probably that, because it doesn't really matter to me what radio I'm running.
Mm-hmm.
I'll run the KX3. I'll pull the 7300 out, and bring that. If I'm going out to a park for a activation with somebody that's new,
mm-hmm.
I bring the 7300.
Nice.
Well, I want, if it's somebody that's never been on HF, I want 100 watts.
Sure.
Because I want them, because while it might be a whole lot of fun for me to sit in a park for an hour and 20 minutes,
mm-hmm.
Calling CQ, letting the voice recorder on the KX3 call CQ for, an hour and a half to get my 10 contacts and then out enjoying it. I don't want a new ham getting bored.
Right. Sure.
And
I can see that.
I want the excitement, and it does make a difference. You definitely are louder on the 7300 versus you make more contacts. Generally, you make more contacts with 100 watts than you will QRP.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the antennas other than that, maybe a good logger.
Yeah, I think that's actually and what does that mean? That means the logger generally implies like some kind of device that you're comfortable with. I know everybody finds something they like, and it's like, it's your thing. Just because I like a certain type of logging, that doesn't mean you will like the way I log. It's very much a personal preference. What do you use?
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing is, is that I primarily use my phone,
Mm-hmm.
and I was lucky enough that I was able to have Hamlog on my phone
Sure.
before they stopped supporting it.
Now you got
But
Hammers. Shout out to Hammers.
I I just downloaded it.
It's awesome.
So they added the POTA only, and it has a QSO map on it too, so you can actually see where you're doing QSOs
Yep.
from the park. So that's a really neat feature, and I think that's going to be a logger that as Ham Radio Adventures. So we operate as a Whiskey Echo 4 Delta X-ray.
Yeah.
As Ham Radio Adventures, and the unique thing is that we're allowed to. The club is allowed to get credit for a park, but the operator also gets credit as well.
Right.
So I don't even operate under my personal call when I POTA now, because I might as well just run the club call,
Right, and get
give
both.
the club because I still get the points, I still get all the awards for it, but I can run the club call, and it's a great way to get exposure for the club.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
And try to get I think we have 13,000 lookups on QRZ.
Oh, that's
in,
fantastic.
like, 7 months.
Wow, that's really cool. Well, and I think you
So-
guys are coming out. I mean, I'll take I take all of 2020 and part of 21 as kind of like a caterpillar in their chrysalis, and we're all going to emerge as beautiful butterflies and get back out portable and doing all this other fun stuff. I know people have been doing portable, but I think it's going to be people
think
now
it's
want it
grow.
more than anything, and they're going to start getting radioactive is the term, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We
Yeah,
did get-
I do Instagram. That last year I did a whole my whole summer vacation. All I did was go to parks and POTA. I got 19 parks in like 14 days.
Go inside, please. Go inside. No, close the door.
Why not?
Close the door.
We have to start balloon after you're done with your podcast.
Yeah, after I'm done with my podcast. Thank you. Close the door. Close the door.
I need to go.
Close the door. Sorry about that. Hey, question
You're fine.
from the chat. The question from the chat for Matt. When operating portable, surely you have random normal people come and ask, "What on earth you're doing? What is your ham radio elevator pitch?" I.e., how do you explain it quickly and effectively?
Matters how many. If it's just me, I kind of tell them what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and stuff like that. If I got a couple of minutes and somebody else is running the radio, I'll explain. As calls are coming in, I have this really interesting filter that it's like a brain filter for HF, where I can be standing like 20 feet away and pull call signs out of the static as somebody's running.
Mhm.
So I'll be sitting there talking to somebody, and I'll turn. I'll be like, "Hey, take that DX call."
Oh, sure.
So it's like I'm always talking to people, telling them, "Hey, this is what we're doing. We're basically a bunch of nerds just out having fun."
Yeah. I'll give you my hot, tight 5 that I give. I say I'm practicing emergency preparedness for communication. If we're ever in a grid down situation, where your cell phones don't work, or I'm in a location like I'm hiking, I'm way out away from where cell phones work, I want multiple layers of capability to be able to communicate back to my loved ones. And then I'll mention things like I lived through the Whittier Narrows earthquake in 1986. I've been through other events where power's out, and I like the ability to communicate no matter what. And it's my communication. I own it. I'm in control of what's happening. I'm not beholden to the AT&Ts of the world or anyone else. It's all me. And it's a hobby and a service. And if they have questions, then I'll take that further. One of my favorite things is to set up a loop antenna at the beach, because when you're down at the beach, having a big tall vertical that could potentially fall over and hit somebody, I don't want to play that game. But a loop, people, they see a loop and they don't know what the heck is going on. And they'll come over and ask you what aliens you're talking to. What are you doing? I happened to be having a QSO with Hawaii when I was on the beach, and I had somebody come by, and I was like, I'm talking to somebody in Hawaii right now. And they're like, wow, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I normally try to set up pretty far out of the way on POTA activations. And it's not because I'm antisocial. It's because I'm running soda beams. I don't have an antenna that is not 70 feet long. So, but I'm a pro. I'll talk to anyone. I'll shut it down. I've had a couple times where we've been done and we're packing up and people come. Well, after we're done running, people come over and ask us, and we just tell people what you're doing, and I tell them about POTA and that the we're just basically just out here for fun because it's something to do and we love it. So,
right.
But yeah, I'm not ecom related at all. Now,
well,
could
but
I
you
run
are.
at
You
a-
are. What you're doing is MCOM.
Yeah.
If there was an
Yeah.
emergency, you would be doing the
Definitely.
exact same thing.
But
that's what
that's not why I do it.
I know.
So,
but whatever it is that you love about the hobby, if there was an emergency, you would still be effective. So that's the thing to keep in mind. Is just because you aren't MCOM focused, you are MCOM adjacent, with whether you know it or not.
I bring the KX3 and the band hopper with me whenever I go do hurricane work.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, and I bring my HT too. But I realize that if people haven't figured, I'm not a VHF UHF guy at all. Like, I turned my HT on for the first at OBX for the first time in like 6 months.
Oh. Well, I will say most of what you said, including the discussions we had on Mic Fright, would apply to VHF UHF as well.
Yeah.
So anybody that's a technician that's watching this or watching on the replay, same kind of things apply. You're going to get the same benefit out of what we've been talking about. By the way, you can do Summits on the Air. Actually, Summits on the Air works pretty well with VHF UHF. Totally possible. So yeah.
Yep. That's not so much for POTA, but definitely Summits on the Air. You can activate.
Yes, that's why I didn't say POTA. Well, Matt, we've definitely crossed the hour. Man, it was lots of fun having you out. As always, the time flies when we're chatting. So I really do appreciate you coming out. Anything you want to mention before we, I guess, wrap up here and go over to Discord?
Yeah, no, we'll be on Discord for hours.
Yes.
I guess the only thing I'm going to say is I'm going to put out another plug for HRA. Check us out. Where the website is easiest way to get to our website is to do www.we4dx.com.
Yeah,
and
take
you right to hamradioadventures.com.
Yeah, we4dx or hamradioadventures.com, and I'll make sure I update this and have the link in there, so that we get you guys over there.
But we're out there and we're trying to have a lot of fun, and we're constantly planning stuff. And as we're growing, we're planning events and other areas, and hopefully the membership will start planning stuff as well, because I can't go to every event.
Sure.
As much as I'd love to.
You probably go to most of them though, but you can't go to everyone. Yeah.
I had said I wasn't going to go to CN75, and then I found a $200 round trip plane ticket.
Oh, that's hard to beat. Are you going to go to Huntsville?
Yeah, I'll be up to Huntsville.
Okay.
I'm going to drive up.
Nice.
I'm just, the Huntsville. I can't miss that. Everybody's going to be there.
Well, yeah, and for people like you, by the way, many people were commenting like Dawn, your background in rocketry, and Huntsville is a fantastic spot for aerospace. There's many things that came out of Huntsville.
Yeah, the Redstone Arsenal's there. That's where they sent Werner von Braun after World War II. Yeah. So, and ULA still builds. They build their rockets, I believe, in Huntsville. So, it's.
Do they? That makes sense.
Yes, yeah, they do. They have a ship that they literally bring up the Tennessee Tombigbee waterway up to the Tennessee River.
Yes. I am familiar with this now. Yeah. Somebody asked, when is Huntsville? It is August 21st, 22nd of 2021 this year. So I'll be there.
It's gonna be an epic time. I've been seeing
not a long time though. Not a long time. It's just it's a hot weekend, and then you get out of there.
I think it. I think it might be a little festive.
Yeah, I don't
And
know how it's all going to go because I know that a lot of it happens out of, what is it, the Embassy Suites? That's kind of where the event is, I think.
I think I think the campground is going to be where
Oh, that's funny.
because it sounds like Jason and Tio have like their discords are like they literally have people like we might be the whole park might be hams
Oh,
that weekend.
well, I have a room in the hotel, so I'm probably going to be hanging around the
Well, but
hotel at least for most of it because it goes pretty late. They've got events after the event as the day closes. They've got stuff going on at the hotel.
so my plan is to drive up on I'm going to drive up on Thursday. I'll probably get up at about 10 p.m. and drive up
Mhm.
and get there Friday morning. And I'm haven't decided if I'm going to take Sunday off. But I'm probably going to take that Sunday off
Cool.
so I can spend the whole time up there with everybody. It should be a blast though.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be
So
great.
the last ham fest I got to go to was Hamcation.
Oh, that's right. Well, yeah, for you, it's in your backyard, pretty much, as close
Yeah,
as
it's
a
2 hours
hamfest can
away.
be. That's still pretty close for most hamfests, right?
Yeah,
For
and
the
that's a
big
big
ones,
one.
anyway. Yeah. All right. Well, Matt, again, thanks for coming out. I'm gonna wrap up the show here, but for you, I'll say adieu and thank you for coming on, and I'll catch you over in the Discord here.
Yep. See you around, Josh.
All right. See ya. All right. Well, that was super cool. I appreciate you all watching. And Matt's a really fun person to watch operate whatever it is he's doing, Poda, Soda, whatever. Very cool. So with that said, let's head right over to thank the patrons. Without your support, I largely wouldn't be able to do what I do, and I really appreciate you all doing that. With that said, next Saturday, which is the first Saturday of May, I will be doing a show on Arden Mesh. That was voted by the patrons. Every first weekend of the month, they decide what we talk about. It just so happens that I have an Arden Mesh hardware ready to get put on the roof in the appropriate location. So that should be fun to be able to show you about Arden and kind of what it does and how it could be interesting for some of you. Some people may not have a built-up network in your area, but here in Southern California, we definitely do. So we should be able to have some fun and show you kind of what that all is about. Lots of great comments on the stream today. I really do appreciate it for everybody that watched. If you could, I'd appreciate the thumbs up and subscribing if you haven't done so. And click the bell because it will notify you when I go live. And actually, things are really weird right now with YouTube. We just went through like a couple of major issues on the back end stuff that you guys don't really see. But I know that people aren't getting notification when some of my videos go live. So if you click the bell, that would be fantastic. What do we got in the chat? Hamlog for iPhone. No, Hamlog for iPhone, iOS is not supported anymore. I don't know what happened to it. If you don't have it in your phone, you're not going to be able to use it. I am using Hammers now, though. It's fantastic, so check that out. Let's see. Yeah. So again, thanks everybody. Oh, please do take the links in the description. That will take you to hamtactical.com. It will take you to Ham Radio Adventures. It will take you to our Discord, our Facebook group. So many links we have. There's an amazing community out there for the Ham Radio Crash Course now. And I mean, you guys are the ones that keep it going with the Facebook and the Discord. Everybody on Discord is absolutely fantastic, and we're going to go hang out with you fine people here. And if you want to join us, take the link. We'll answer your questions live, and we'll have a lot of fun. All right. Okay, with that said, I am Josh, KI6NAZ. You've been watching the Ham Radio Crash Course, and I'm going to play you out with some memes. Enjoy the memes, and I'll see you on the Discord. 73. Hey, that's the podcast ending.
What? Good stream.
Oh, hold on. I'm still live. Thanks, Matt. Drop the bass. All right, see you.